Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenmara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho, and today I would like to offer the weekly rune reading for the week of June 2nd through the 8th of 2024, although as with most divination, it is timeless, so whenever you hear this, you'll actually get the messages you're supposed to hear for that time, or at least get something out of it. I read for the elements, and that's how I do my readings. And if you're interested, there's a link in the description below. You can check out why I read for the elements instead of the zodiac. With that, we'll get started with our fire runes, which is fire covering Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So this is for our fire family. And our first rune is getting better. I just not quite there yet. Laguz, water. So fire, you're starting off this week with your opposite. The color is deep green. This tarot association is the star. Astrology is the moon. It is unconscious intuition and mystery, psychic awareness, hidden sources of creativity. So fire, this is not going to be the most comfortable energy for this week, but it's not something that you're totally opposed to. Fire's drive works with creativity. Water tends to be the more subconscious, the more subtle essence of that. So this could be calling you forward to work on a creative project, maybe look at it from a deeper perspective versus just simply the five primary senses, and look at it from the deeper aspect, the sixth sense. Maybe incorporate some of your spiritual energy into your work, as in like making the spiritual paintings where you have Reiki attached to them, or you're doing something with the chakras, but they're really emphasizing this energy bonding between fire, you, and this water fluid creative and a little bit more mysterious energy. This is not going to be as bold and upfront as what you're used to, fire. Your second rune is, I believe this actually stands for the U and tree, but nope, wrong one. Sorry. It is Algiz, which is protection though. Color of gold. Tarot association is the moon. Astrology is Cancer. Protection from danger, resist temptation, new beginnings are possible. What I'm hearing is this is something new that you're bringing in. You have the safe space, the safe area, the sacred circle, so to speak, to do this creation energy, and they're really focusing on imbuing what your creative talent is with a spiritual essence, whether that is painting, whether that is sculpting, whether that is writing, however your creativity comes forward, fire. They're saying that this is the perfect time to really tap into your spiritual side and bring that into your art. If you're already doing that, great. You could be getting a new form of inspiration this week that might be bringing something a little bit more unique forward for you. But they're also saying that this is just a good time to really readjust how this is how I do it and this is the only way, because there's more options available to you, and this is a good week to kind of explore those a little bit. It doesn't have to be, everything has to be changed right now, but just incorporating and bringing in some of that more subtle energy is what they're saying for your creation. So let's hop over to Earth energy, and Earth covers Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So if you have Earth high up in your charts, or you're a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, then this one's for you. And I also put a link in the description. It's not affiliated or anything, but it is for a natal interpretation chart, which just gives you the basic circle with all the little lines and symbols. And then it also goes through 10 to 20 pages of a detailed analysis of what that means. And I've said this before, and I'll probably keep saying it. It is probably one of my favorites outside of going to an actual astrologer and sitting down with them and going through it. So it's not super personal, but there's so much information there that it's hard not to be a little bit surprised when you go through it. Just being upfront. So Earth's first rune is... Oh, you have the blank rune, which is kind of interesting. It is the rune of fate. It's the weird rune. It is mystery, unknown, having trust and having faith. So Earth, this is definitely, see, just blank rune. This is definitely a time for you to trust the path that you've been on, to trust your intuition and your spiritual guidance. Even if you're feeling a little bit confused this week, it's not going to be a long-term confusion. It's actually going to be something short-term, but you're in a transition period, so trust what's happening. Fate, usually we use that term in a negative aspect, but in reality, fate is the logical outcome of something that we've been building. Fate is the divine intervention at times of a path that we are on. If it's not going great, then fate, quote unquote, will hop in and maybe tweak it a little bit to bump us in the right direction. Like I said, we use the term fate a lot in a negative aspect, but the reality is fate is the divine course correcting us. Sometimes we don't like the correction, but it's necessary for our spiritual development. Your second rune is Berkana, which is the birth rune, color of dark green, tarot association of the Empress. Astrology is Virgo, so this is tying into Earth's energy here. And it's renewal, promise of new beginnings, new growth, birth, family, new home. They're also saying new jobs could be an option. So when you put these two together, the weird rune and the Berkana rune, we're actually talking about a time where there's a lot of things setting themselves up to start. You're not quite there yet. Fate has a couple of little additions they want to toss into the mix. But once everything gets settled, and this week is kind of that, you're not really sure where things are headed. You're not sure exactly what those next steps are just yet. But that doesn't mean that it's going to turn out negative. In reality, with Berkana coming forward and the Empress as the Tarot Association, you have a lot of divine feminine energy that is stepping up at this point. This regal energy, this energy of lifting you out of a situation. Now, if that's lifting you from a good situation to a better situation, awesome. Or it could be just lifting you out of a situation that's probably not the best for your journey at this time. That doesn't mean it was bad, it's just not the best option. And so when we start looking at it from the perspective of, so there's some excuse me, there are some things that are changing. What can I learn from this? How can I grow through this transition period? And that's what they're wanting to bring forward, is the fates are not always evil. Sometimes the fates are there to kind of bump you back onto the track that you're supposed to be on, because you dangled something shiny, someone dangled something shiny and off you went, and that happens. It happens to all of us. I don't care how long you've been on your spiritual path. Someone dangles the right shinies in front of you and you're going to be off chasing a tangent. It happens to all of us. But this week is actually going to be a pretty good week for Earth. It's just, you may not fully know what's happening at any given moment, and that's fine. That's where you're supposed to be. So now we're going to hop over to air with Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So if you're Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or have air high up in your chart, this one is for you. And we start off with Iwaz, which this is the yew tree. Its color is dark blue. Tarot association is the Hanged Man. Astrology is Scorpio. So we're working with some pretty aggressive water energy here. Protection, a time of death and rebirth, foresight, and perseverance. When we talk about the Hanged Man, it can be an ending. Obviously, it's Hanged Man. But it's also, when you look at the tarot aspect of it, it's looking at things from a different perspective. This particular rune, and if you were casting on a towel or a table, you're not going to have an upside down on this. It doesn't have a reversed meaning. And that's the trick. Even with the Hanged Man, its reversal is really stagnation, so it's not truly a reversal in the aspect that we would normally think. Some people argue with you about that, and that's fine. But what this is really saying is, this is a time for expanding your your consciousness, your thoughts, your energy, but it's also about expanding wisdom. And sometimes when you start to look at things from a different perspective, it will give you an insight into the way things are that might actually shock you, because we always, especially air, not just air, but all humans, but air specifically, they tend to look at things from a very analytical perspective. They are logical, they're much more methodical, but when they're not that, they're very much not that. Very much up in their head, kind of like bobblehead energy. But what this rune is saying is, if you're typically the more airheaded type of air, bring yourself down and use analytics and logic this week. If you're very structured and everything has to have its place and you're very planned out and lists and all this other fun stuff, try winging it this week. Not so much all of things, but like try something a little bit more unique. When you're looking at things from a different perspective, it can actually help you learn and grow in a way that the standard next step pattern doesn't always do it for you. Your second rune is Ewaz the horse. Okay, so we've got two different ways of saying this. The first one is Ihawaz, I guess, is how you'd say that, because this one is Ewaz. The spelling has one letter difference. This one is the horse. Color association is white. Tarot association is the lovers. Astrology is Gemini, so we're tapping into some air energy here. Travel and change, new jobs possible, new homes, spiritual journeys, and movement. When you put these two together, this is really a powerful call out to grow. Plain and simple. Looking at things from a different perspective, examining, why do I do this way? Is this just what I was taught? Is this the best possible option? Sometimes when you start to poke at the whys, they fall apart because it's what you've always done. It's not really a why so much as, this is what I've always done. There's a different option. And what these two runes together are coming in to say, there's some different things coming on. This is a transitionary period. There's some changes on the horizon for air. I'm hearing that this is a good set of changes. It could be just some minor stuff where something's a little bit different and all of a sudden you get that office position you were looking for, or that person that you've been kind of having your eye on suddenly comes up to you because you've changed a pattern in your life, and it's opened the door for the universe to step in and say, you know what, here, you've been working towards this, you finally are starting to, do things a little bit different, maybe look at things a little bit different. Here we go. So, now we'll head over to, air. Definitely look at things from a different perspective this week, from a different awareness. And water, our water fam here, is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And your water rune, first rune, is Inga's, which is fertility. Look out, water. Color of yellow. Tarot association is Judgment. Astrology, new moon. Completion of ideas or projects signifies a new beginning, a time of positive energies, good fortune. This is a really fertile time for all of the signs, really, because there's a lot of new growth coming in for everyone this week. But water, they're saying that this is something, you've completed a mission that you've been working on, a spiritual and a personal one. That's interesting. And because you've completed that aspect of your journey at the moment, now you're ready to step into the next aspect of that. So the spiritual journey, you've had an awareness of. It may not be a full conscious thing like you're going through an initiation or something, but it's been a spiritual pattern you've been working through. But then there's that personal one is a little bit interesting, because they're saying basically the person you asked out said yes, and so you've ended that one step, and now you've got to start a new cycle. So there's a lot of good energy moving around for water right now, and the fertility doesn't always mean baby on the way. Fertility also can be new beginnings. There's they keep showing me a pregnant belly. That's not the word I want to use. But basically, everything is lined up to make a new creation. There's this energy coming in of new. Man, they're just not giving me that word. They just keep showing me the big pregnant belly. So see how that manifests for you. It could be a Buddha for all I know. But there's that new beginning energy this week. Your second rune is Kano, the torch or fire. That's not always it's interesting that fire had its opposite in its runes and water has its opposite. Color of light red, tarot card is the Chariot, astrology is Venus, signifies creative fire, awakening artistic impulses, passion, and amorous urges. So, water, if things have been getting a little boring in the bedroom, this is a week to experiment. And it doesn't have to be something drastic or whatever, but I don't know why they're showing me, like, have fun with things. It doesn't have to be serious. Learn to laugh at those laugh with the intimate moments is what they're showing me. But it's also saying that this is a time for speed. There's things that are happening at this point that you have put in motion, and that's this rune. Everything's been set up to move. That's that fertile part. Now you've got the Kano stepping forward with the fire, the torches, and the Chariot saying, okay, everything's been set up, now it's time to rock and roll. So this definitely could be a interesting week for water. It could be a very creative week, like if it's a new project you're working on. But they're also saying, don't leave out the more amorous aspects of life either, because that's something that can be a lot of entertainment and a lot of fun within a relationship. It's definitely not something just for random flings. But if you're in a relationship, this could be a good week to just remember what it was like the first few times, where it was just kind of fun. You giggled a little bit more, hopefully. But if not, try something different. They're wanting to bring that forward because they're being a little bit funny about it. So we'll stop there. But hopefully these messages resound for you guys. And also, overall, this week looks like it's going to be pretty creative. There's going to be some unknown aspects to life. This is for everybody. And with those unknowns, that also means that there are some interesting options that may be coming forward for you. The universe is the mystery. We can plan until the cows come home. We can literally plan our lives to the most minute detail but the reality is, when the universe says that's not quite right, that you have these big goals but you're headed in the wrong direction and they bump you, we call it fate, we can call it karma, whatever it is. This week is a reminder that we have a co-creative aspect in our life. But the mystery is half of the fun. We can put our 2 cents in, the universe puts their 2 cents in, and see what happens. That's the beauty of this type of work. It's the beauty of the spiritual practice and the spiritual journey is we don't know the outcome. We have an idea, but we don't know. We haven't been there yet. And that's the joy and the fun of having this life experience. So with that, I will let you guys go. Have a great rest of your week. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video, and comment. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, opinions, etc. As long as we're respectful, that's all we can ask for. So I will talk to you guys in a future video.